So without further ado, we will start this webinar. So hi everyone, I'm Manuel Jordan, the Product Marketing Manager for Stormshield. And today I'm here with Simon Dansette, who is the Product Manager for Stormshield Network Security. Hi Simon, how are you doing?
Hello, Manu. I'm good, thanks.
Cool, great. So during this session, guys, we are going to tell you all about the SD-WAN by Stormshield, and as well, we will talk about the other features which are related with the 4.3 version. So in order to do so, we have prepared you a video to explain everything to you, either the SD-WAN and these features. So we will come back at the end of the session with Simon. So please feel free to raise all of your questions in the question box in the GoToWebinar panel, and either Simon or myself, we will can respond to them. So I'll start right now the video, and thank you, and see you in a few minutes for the Q&A session.
Welcome everyone, and welcome to this new format that we have created to better communicate with you, as I was saying. And also in 30 minutes max, we will discover all about the Stormshield SD-WAN and also the new features present in the new SNS version called 4.3. Also, you have in the question area, you have in the solution, in the GoToMeeting parameters, you have all the question areas, so you can raise all of your questions, and at the end of the meeting, we will come back to answer them. So, as I was saying as an introduction, for this new version release, we are going to present you in detail the Stormshield SD-WAN, which is a secure and trusted approach. And to do so, I'm here with Simon Dansette, who is the product manager for SNS, and I think you know him already, and he's going to tell us all about the SD-WAN and also the new features present in the 4.3. Hi Simon, how are you?
Good morning, I'm good, thanks.
Great. And also on my right, I have the pleasure to be with Quentin Tieghem, who is a network security pre-sales engineer for SNS, and he will talk more about the practical sense, the use cases for SD-WAN. Hi, Quentin.
Hi, Manuel. Good morning, everybody.
So before we dive into this subject in detail, I'd like to ask you, Simon, can you please tell us a bit more about the historical of SD-WAN, please?
Sure. So SD-WAN is, as the name stands for, WAN technology. And historically, MPLS was the technology of choice for WAN interconnectivity. It provided guaranteed boundaries, QoS mechanism, and private network. And with time, the need evolved, and basically, enterprise wanted to reduce their cost, and so they introduced hybrid VPN, really to have, backup link on low price internet connection. Again, the dynamic routing introduced as well as a new iteration to better suit the need for the application. And I would say SD-WAN is the latest step in the evolution of WAN technology. And really that's in the goal of reducing the cost of the WAN connectivity by using, I would say, standard internet access, and as well better suits the, new architecture of WAN due to the introduction of SaaS. I would say more and more applications are moved from the data center to the cloud, and so there is not anymore a need to go through the data center to go to internet. Really to optimize performance and quality, it's better suited to go directly to internet, and SD-WAN is really here to help with those use cases.
Okay, great, Simon. That was very clear. Thank you. But Quentin, can you please tell us more about what exactly SD-WAN stands for?
Yes, SD-WAN stands for, in fact, for software-defined WAN. It's a solution that will help companies to manage WAN links of different telecom operators deployed on every site. And in order to facilitate interconnection between those sites through those links. In fact, SD-WAN is a set of features. So there are a lot of features in SD-WAN, but it includes automatic usage of multiple WAN links. So selection of the best links thanks to the application, thanks to the service. It includes also secure interconnection between different sites of the enterprise to form a single WAN network, regardless of the operator links. So it is based on VPN technology, in fact, to secure those interconnection. And it also includes intelligent routing for services and application used by the enterprise.
Okay. That's very clear. Thank you, Quentin. Simon, I'd like to also go further to this subject. And can you please tell us more about one of the features of the SD-WAN, which is the best link selection, I guess?
Sure. Yeah. So best link selection is part, I would say, of the SD-WAN package of feature, and it will act over existing feature that we already have, and that as well as part, I would say, of SD-WAN. We could name the VPN connectivity with our trusted approach of certified VPN, the multi-link selection, the failover feature, and you will have best link selection on the top of those features to add, I would say, a layer of intelligence. Really, the goal is to better use the network and to maintain the quality of experience of the user by selecting the best link for the business application. And basically, it will do so with the SNS doing active testing of the link and measuring performance KPIs such as latency, the jitter, and the packet loss. And dynamically, the traffic will select or will go through the best link so that end users have as well always the best experience for the business application.
Okay, that's great.
Yes, maybe an example, but first, to summarize simply this feature, it will allow administrator to set up a configuration so the best link will be always used for a given service or application. So, for example, for a voice over IP service, we could configure the solution to use the best link based on jitter and latency, whereas for a business application, the solution will be configured to choose the best link only based on packet loss, for example. It is possible then to separate the both traffic. And also, finally, we can also imagine for the web access, so for HTTP and HTTPS traffic, we can imagine to do not configure any SLA, so no latency, no jitter, and no packet loss, but just to prefer to use one link rather than the other ones. And it will be possible thanks by configuring a greater weight on those links, or also it's also possible to select this link as a main link and the other ones as backup links. In fact, any combination is possible. An administrator can therefore create their own use case according to their needs.
Okay, thank you, Quentin. That was actually very clear. And yes, sure.
Yeah, sure. Just to complement Quentin's explanation, I would say it's really more important now because with MPLS you had guaranteed boundaries, and as well performance was stable since it was a private network.
Mm-hmm.
With the use of, I would say, standard internet access, really performance is not guaranteed, boundaries can vary. So it's really, really important to have this layer of link selection to, I would say, emulate the performance and stability that you could have with MPLS. So that really, I would say, compensate this lack of feature of internet access with the software and make most of them so that you really have for your money with the cost reduction with this internet access.
Of course, thank you for the great information or compliment. And what about the routed objects that we are?
Sure. With the router object, so I would say best link selection really that's an evolution of the router object, and we take the opportunity to allow the administrator to use them as well in the static routing of the SNS. And basically, with that evolution of the static routing, that will allow administrator to create some kind of, I would say, default SD-WAN policy, and to introduce dynamic behavior in the static routing, which is a bit paradoxal. And I would say have this default SD-WAN policy with failover on the different routes, so that I would say non-business critical traffic can benefit from this default SD-WAN policy.
Okay, I see.
Just to complete, yes. In fact, this feature will make it easier to use different one link on a simple network infrastructure. So rather than being limited to use multi-one router object with a PBR or with or the default gateway, it will now be possible to use those router objects with a multiple one link selection to switch to allow to switch from one link to another one for a particular routing path. In fact, this feature will eliminate the need to rely on dynamic routing when static routes can be more easily meet the need. In fact.
Okay, I see, and that was also very clear. What about Simon, the QoS improvement that we have made?
Sure. So QoS really that's a feature that complements what we just discussed, the best link selection, and that will be really useful when you don't have the luxury to put, I would say, internet access with fiber connectivity and high boundaries, when you are stuck with, I would say, low boundaries access. And with the SD-WAN in mind, we basically improved the existing QoS mechanism on two fronts. First, on the configuration part, to change, I would say, the way it is configured and not having any more global, I would say, boundaries parameter. Now the QoS is configurable per interface. We basically introduce the notion of a traffic shaper to help with that. And on the second aspect, it's really the improvement on the engine of the QoS to be better, efficient, more efficient, and more stable. So just two points, we multi-interface management with the QoS and better efficiency.
Okay, I see.
Just to complete again, first you should know that QoS on UTM firewalls are not to replace dedicated QoS solution. In fact, dedicated QoS solution will do always better than that embedded QoS feature onto UTM firewalls.
Okay.
But as legacy, operators used to offer some QoS capabilities on their WANs, like in PLS networks. It's also a need to propose some QoS capabilities with SD-WAN. Mm-hmm. So, in fact, it's why this feature of QoS is important on SNS. So, thanks to this QoS feature and this improvement of this QoS feature on SNS firewall, administrator will be able to create QoS policies to limit maximum bandwidth, to reserve minimum bandwidth, or to prioritize services and application on the different SD-WAN links.
Okay, I see. And Simon, back to you. What can you tell us about what will happen next in terms of functionality for this SD-WAN?
Yeah, so SD-WAN doesn't stop with this version. It will continue to evolve. So with 4.3, we focus really on the network management aspect with the besting selection and the QoS. On the next version, we really focus on the traffic detection and identification.
Okay.
So basically, we will introduce the notion of web services. With default list of web service available directly in the SNS with a little bit more than 10 web services available. And as we know that it will not be enough, we will allow administrators to define their own web service by entering a list of IPs, subnet, FQDN, and FQDN with wildcard to allow simplified configuration. And based on that list and the default list of web service, really the goal is to allow SD-WAN features such as the QoS and the besting selection on this detection. Really the goal here is really to help with the direct internet access on the branch side and allow the business, I would say, traffic to go directly to internet without going to the main site and so on. So that's again to help with the quality of experience on those applications.
I see. Quentin?
Yeah. In fact, it's an important feature that will complete the set of SD-WAN features on SNS. It has been requested very often by our customers and partners. For example, it will allow more easily to configure policy for Visio web services like GoToMeeting, like Zoom, like WebEx, and so on. And then to create routing policy based on those web services, to create filtering policy, of course, based on those web services. So the traffic will be managed directly based on this policy instead of passing through the proxy, for example. So it's an important feature.
Okay, thank you. That's great. And now I suggest we can move on to the other features that we are having on this new version of 4.3.
Yeah, if you get back to 4.3 and the other feature compared to the SD-WAN, which is the big and main one, we have interesting features. First one would be improvement on the radius configuration. We can think that it's really small, but it will really help to integrate with two-factor authentication. So basically, we work the way as SNS connect to Radius with a second log, we collect the performance, and as well, we allow the configuration of timeouts so that really the integration with two-factor authentication solution is easier and better.
Okay.
So yes, again, to complete what Simon just said, it's a major improvement. Also, it will help us to be more compatible with different two-factor authentication solutions. So, like for example, we are already compatible, in fact, with some solutions like Inwebo solution, like RSA solutions, Gemalto or Cisco Duo, and so on. But some of their features, like the push mode, were not compatible yet. So with this new version, version 4.3, we will be compatible with this push mode. The push mode, in fact, this is a solution that allows the user to validate his authentication thanks to his two-factor authentication application directly on his smartphone. So he will receive a notification. You have just to validate it. And the firewall, the SMS firewall, will be able to manage those authentication. So this is a major improvement. Okay, but also, there are another improvement on the VPN SSL client side that will also improve the way to manage OTP and two-factor authentication solutions. So it will be the version 3.0. Perhaps now you can tell us more about this version.
That's a good point, Quentin. Since I guess a lot of people are still working remotely, so VPN is really important. And with this version 3.0 of the SSL VPN, basically we have two improvements. First one, again, is on the internal mechanism with the integration of SNS and the two-factor authentication that will help on the front and reduce the exchange with the SNS and the Redux to simplify and have better performance. And on the user experience, that's the second improvement that we do. Basically, we introduce an OTP field to enter the OTP code and not having the old way with one field where you need to concatenate both. So really, for the end user, it will be really a lot more easier to work with the SSL VPN on the everyday basis.
Okay.
So if we move on to the next small feature, I would say, or feature present in SNS 4.3, that's an administration feature, I would say. We improve the authentication on the SSH and console. So in the current version, basically only the superadmin can connect to the SSH and console. Now every administrator who will have the right, so it's a new right, will be able to connect to the SSH, and really that's to help with the traceability of administrator connecting to SSH and to remove the need to share that super administrator login. Okay. So really improving the authentication, the security of the authentication on the SNS. Second administration feature that we introduced in this version 4.3, that's a packet capture tool directly available on the web administration, on the web console, to really simplify the troubleshooting task. And we have, I would say, two levels of filters that will be available in this tool. I would say first level, a simple level with the basic filter that you would use every day, such as the IP protocol port and so on, to help with, I would say, least knowledgeable administrator to do the job. And we have as well an advanced filtering level to work on the, I would say, tougher and more complex problem which require to capture really specific part of the traffic.
Okay.
So basically, really, it will help with the troubleshooting a lot and remove the need to connect to the SSH for that part. And last but not least, for the industrial segment, we are improving again our protocol support by introducing the analysis of Softbus and Magbus protocols from Aqua software. And basically, it will increase the security of environments in the water and energy segments, and in particular in the remote maintenance scenario where those protocols are used. Really, customers will be able to filter specific commands and so on and so it will really reduce the surface of attack in those particular scenarios.
Okay, that's great. So thank you a lot, Simon, for all your explanations. Also, Quentin.
So we're back. We hoped really that you enjoyed this video replay in which we have explained all the new things we are having on this new version 4.3. Regarding the questions, I'm seeing right now that we have several ones. So please, now it's the time. If you have any doubt, any question about either SD-WAN or the new features presented by Simon, please do not hesitate. We are at your disposal. So the first one, Simon, maybe you can answer it. Is this version an LTSB version? Can you please tell us more about
Sure.
it?
Yes. So, as you all know, we introduced the LTSB concept a few years back, and our current LTSB version is the 3.11 and 3.7. And for the branch 4 of SNS, the target version for the LTSB is the 4.3, so the version that we just talked about. It won't be marked or branded as LTSB at the launch of the version, at the public release of the version. We want to wait a couple of corrective version on this 4.3 to mark it and brand it as LTSB so that you have all the stability you need when you deployed it and trust it as LTSB.
Okay, thank you. We have several more questions. What if MF?
Maybe
Sorry?
Manuel, sorry to interrupt. We can speak about the timing of the release.
Yeah, sure. The released way, of course.
Yeah. So basically, the 4.3 release is available at your reseller and integrator. They already have the version to run some testing, and maybe they already talk about it to you for some features that we just presented and that you requested in the past. And the public release for every customer is at the moment planned for February 9th. So it will be available soon in my Stormshield. I guess we'll make sure that you are aware about it with a mailing or something like that, I guess.
Yeah, sure. We will send all of our end users a mailing for informing that they have the availability of this version through my Stormshield. Thank you, Simon. If you may, we can go back to the questions. So the other one was what MFA solutions are compatible, and there is something like a support matrix or something to point it out. Or
sure. So we don't have a super matrix or run, I would say, specific test with a specific solution, since we use the Radius protocol, which is a standard, so it should be compatible with any solution. Nevertheless, we have, I would say, pre-sales that run some POC and mockup with solutions such as Cisco Duo, Inwebo, RSA, Gemalto, just to name them, as well as, I would say, X0TP. If you wonder if the solution is compatible, just ask your pre-sales engineer. He will have all the information to respond to you.
Okay, thank you. Another one, can SD-WAN features replace a provider's MPLS or not?
That's a possibility, I would say, depending on your expectation and requirement in terms of QoS, bandwidth, and so on. That must be evaluated on a case-by-case basis, so that you are not disappointing after the switch. But yes, that's a possibility.
Okay, great. So it's depend on the case for the user. Great. And the last one that I have is something like Traffic Shaper has emerged in QoS. What exactly is it?
So the Traffic Shaper, as we tried to explain during the video, so that's basically a new notion that we introduce in the QoS feature. It's, I would say, similar to other QoS mechanism from other vendor, and that's really the mechanism that will enforce the QoS parameter in the queue definition, and that will set the max traffic, for instance, for the QoS.
Okay. I'm seeing in the question box that we have the last one. I mean, one of the last at least. Is there SD-WAN compatibility? Compatible with Stormshield Management Center, so with SMC for those who know.
So at the release of the 4.3, SMC won't support the feature, but that's in the plan to support it in a further release. So it will come, I would say, shortly after the release of SNS, in a future release of SMC.
Okay, thank you. That's clear. So please, for now, we don't have any questions. Now it's the time, like I said before, to exchange with our product manager. So do not hesitate to raise your questions. And even if you're shy, we will, of course, put this replay webinar on our YouTube channel. And as always, you can contact us with through the email or even by phone or by your integrator or partner provider. So for now, I'm seeing we don't have any more questions. We can just wait a few seconds just to be sure with everything is clear. Okay, so we don't have more questions, Simon. I think we can close this session. I'd like to thank you, all of you. And as Simon said, we will send you an email once the availability of this version is on my Stormshield. And please have a great day. And as usual, if you have any questions, do not hesitate to come back to us. Thank you so much and have a great day. Bye.
Thank you. Have a great day. Bye-bye.